Shalom. Ka Allah Imla Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who still rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and safety unto the Lord's elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing His word in humility and sincerity as commanded by Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. This is Brother Yaquan from the GMS Cleveland camp, coming back, Lord willing, with a quick and edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And the title of this lesson is going to be going into the topic of the new moon, okay, and how you count days, you know, how you keep the Shabbat according to the scriptures, okay, because there was no calendar in the wilderness with Moses and the Israelites. So how did they know when to keep these certain feast days, these certain high holy days? It said that by the knowledge of the Lord, the days are divided. You know, I think I'm gonna hold that in Sirach. I believe that's Sirach 33. It mentions ordinary days. It says some days are high days and some days are ordinary days. Sirach 33 and verse 7. It said, why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? Right, so why did one day excel another when the sun and the moon shine and do their job the same way every day? You know, you're going to see the clouds, you're going to see the sun, you're going to see the moon, you're going to see the stars every single day. But why did one day exalt above another day? It says, verse 8, by the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and He have altered seasons and feasts. You see, so by the knowledge of the Lord, the different days are distinguished. And what's the knowledge or information that you need to know in order to be able to exalt the days properly? You need to know your calendar, which is the moon, the sun, the moon. Okay, they were given to count the days, to know the seasons, to know the times. That's what they were given. They were given for signs. Genesis chapter 1 and verse let's see. It says, let there be lights in the midst of the firmament. Genesis 1 verse 5, and Alahayim, the word for God here in Genesis 1 is Alahayim, which represent the angels, Yahweh Shai and the angels. It says, in Alahayim called the day, the light day, and the darkness He called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. A day represents 1,000 years. And the day begins in the evening when the sun sets. Now let me find this precept, Salaki. Bear with me. I'm about to pull over now so I can kind of focus better. I'm driving, so Salaki. I'm pulling over. Bear with me. And let's try to get this precept. Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. It says, and Alahayim said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So these lights were given for signs. The word moon means month. Well, the word month comes from the word moon. The word month, it comes from the word moon. So how do you know when the next month is, whether it's month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6, month 7, month 8, all the way down? How do you know? By the new moon. Let's go to this word signs in the Hebrew. The word is awath. Awath.
Strong's H226.
Ooh.
Oath.
In the ancient Hebrew, it would be awath, and it says sign, signal, a distinguishing mark. We just read in Sirach 33. I still got it. Sirach 33. The distinguishing mark. You see? It says, Sirach 33 and verse 8, by the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished. Talking about the different days. One day excelling above another. And he altered seasons and feasts. So the moon was given for a sign. Sirach chapter 43 and verse 6, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times. This is how you declare your times. When the Shabbat come in, when a new moon come in. Okay, and it goes according to the dark moon, what you would call the dark moon. That's the new moon. That's the beginning. And then the moon waxes brighter till it's full, and then when it's full, that's when it's in its perfection. On a full moon, that's in its perfection. That's why a lot of high holy days, the Passover, for example, the 14th day at evening, which is the 15th day, which is a full moon. And so by the moon, there was a declaration of time. So in its perfection, it waxes brighter and brighter until it's in its perfection. And then from there, it decreases in its perfection. Sirach 43 verse 6, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. So it's a light that decreaseth in its perfection. You see? The moon, it says, verse 8, the month is called after her name. Why does it say that? Because the word month comes from the word moon. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing. So as the moon changes, it increases. But it decreases in its perfection. It says the month is called, which is the same thing. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. So this is an instrument. An instrument is like a tool, something that you use. Okay? Something that you use for a purpose. Okay? And the moon and the purpose of it was to give a declaration of times. A distinguishing mark. This is the word for sign here. That the moon, the lights of heaven, the sun and the moon were given for a distinguishing mark. Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the midst of the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons. Because you already had light and darkness. You see, but the Heavenly Father put great lights within that light and that darkness that he already made. And what were they for? They were for signs. Because if you just had light and darkness, you would have no signs to know what day it is. You would just have the light and the darkness. But the Lord put great lights in the midst of light, and he put great lights in a lesser light, in the midst of darkness, to rule the darkness. And they were given for signs. So by that you're gonna know when the Passover come in. By that you're gonna know when the Shabbat come in. There's not no Saturday. There was no calendar in the wilderness. You know, there was no Saturday or Sunday or Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. It was no days like that. It was just day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. And how do you know when to start over? From the new moon, the dark moon. And it's not hard. Okay, but it's hard if you don't want to see it, or the Lord's not gonna allow you to see it. Where was I about to go? Salakia. Shoot. Leviticus. (23). Let me close with this. Leviticus 23 verse 1. And Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Yasha'Allah, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Shabbat of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Shabbat of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua in all your dwellings. So the Shabbat, it says 6 days shall work be done. When do you start to count? How do you know when to start to count? You know by the new moon. You know by the new moon. You don't know by Monday. You don't know by January 1st, 2025. That's Esau shit. That's the equivalent of you going to the Romans and getting a Julian calendar and trying to perform the Bible within that. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. This is not, you got to come back to the old path. Now it says, verse 4, these are the feast of Yahweh, even a holy convocation, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. How do you know when the seasons? How do you know that we read it in Sirach 43? By this moon, there's a declaration of seasons and times. The word seasons is mawa'id. Mawa'id, appointed place, appointed time, appointed meeting, sacred season, set feast, a set feast. So you're not going to know that except you use the moon, as we read. Verse 5, in the 14th day of the first month at eve is Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua's Passover. So 14th day from what? From the dark moon. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Kwam Yashua. Shalom.